Hey everyone, Kevin here, and welcome back to my channel. So I had a comment on one of my recent videos from someone who said that they wished I would use my voice on this channel in more positive and constructive ways to help support teachers who are still in the classroom, and to kind of use my voice to assist with making the profession better as it is right now. Which I did find odd, since that is the entire purpose of these videos. A significant part of my YouTube and LinkedIn presence is geared toward helping teachers, but I can also freely admit that there can be a resting level of negativity to some things I say. But that's also more because education is full of disrespect and gaslighting, which silences teachers and often doesn't allow them to have any kind of a voice. And I think it's important to note that there's different definitions of positivity on top of all of that. Just because I'm not being bubbly and happy about what I'm saying doesn't mean I'm not, at least to some degree, making a positive impact, especially to those same teachers who often feel trapped and silenced inside of the system. I've often said that teachers are cloistered in their classrooms to such a degree that they don't talk to anyone outside of collective complaining sessions during staff meetings or in the hallways with other educators, which is why it's also important to note that there's very little positive talk on their part either. The school system is set up in such a way that it is physically, mentally, and emotionally draining to all involved. This isn't meant to sound defeatist or negative as some have claimed I'm being, but rather to point out that there's no fixing the way the system is designed right now. The most positive and constructive thing I can do for teachers currently in the classroom is to highlight to the rest of the world what teachers really need, which is a radical redesign of the way school is currently structured, because what we have is not working. And no, it's not the salary concerns like everyone seems to claim as the reason teachers complain about their working conditions all the time. Sure, everyone wants to make more money, and yes, teachers don't get paid anywhere near what they should, or what would be required to pay off all of their mandated degrees and certifications needed to become educators in the first place. But the issue is far deeper than that, and I started to communicate that to everyone else through the small platform I have here. So if you're new to this channel or my videos, or really don't understand what's going on in modern classrooms, let me again go over what those problems are, what they're doing, and why it's causing the mass teacher exodus we've had for over 6 years now. Chief among those is the absurd rise in student violence. Going to school now is an exercise in putting your life on the line and possibly getting assaulted every single day. And believe me, you'd be very hard pressed to find a teacher who hasn't been assaulted at this point, or at the very least hasn't been openly threatened by a kid with bodily injury. School shootings are on the rise. Fights seem to happen almost daily, and administrators don't enforce discipline either, thus emboldening the students to do worse and worse things because they know they won't get in trouble for it. No amount of classroom management on behalf of teachers can make up for that either, which highlights two of the other main problems teachers are dealing with: parents and administrators. Parents don't parent their kids anymore, and for the most part have shifted those responsibilities onto teachers who aren't trained or equipped to do so, resulting in that annoying professional babysitter mentality that the job has really become in recent years. Then there's the administrator problem, where those positions have increasingly become filled by people who either have never been educators or are failed teachers who moved up because they couldn't make it in the classroom. And believe me, I had a lot of those. And as a result, they are more business minded with getting promotions on the backs of their staff than they are with actually helping teachers. They're more concerned about you having the grade level standard on the board, or if you are walking around the room now, rather than what you are teaching, the way you're teaching it, or the personal relationships you form with kids that help them grow and mature as individuals, which is a significant part of school. And dump on top of all of that the increased standardization that's removed teacher autonomy from the classroom, so they can't teach the way they want to. There's no funding for supplies, so we're forced to pay for them out of pocket. Yearly high stakes testing, which never assesses what it's designed to, and is then used to justify dumb funding changes because of it. Evaluations have been weaponized against teachers to keep them in line, and an overall lack of respect from society at large, who no longer trust us much these days because of policies put in place by administrators, district officials, and politicians, not us. And sure, there will always be a few bad teachers who give the rest of us a bad name too. Yes. I made a whole video about the ones who can't keep their politics out of the classroom and the ones who lie on their licensure exams to get in, which is also ironic because every state has now lowered their standards to such a degree that we're already having underqualified teachers flooding the classrooms to fill vacancies. But I digress. I guess my point is that the problems I talked about and the way I talk about them come from a point of desperation for a profession that I cared about deeply and still do, but which is slowly withering and dying as a result of decisions and attitudes almost entirely outside of our control. Teachers have absolutely no political capital to change the system for the better because we've been marginalized for so long that the people who make it possible to even have a school system in the first place are the ones who become the most ignored and the least trusted. Instead of having days we used to have where we dealt with some discipline issues but spent most of the time committed to our students, our days now tend to go like this instead. We walk in the classroom fresh and early in the morning and answer angry emails and phone calls from parents. Then we have an IEP meeting before school, but the parent doesn't show up. Then we have an admin walkthrough in first period who tells us to walk around the classroom and smile more. Then we get threatened with violence by a student in second period. Then we break up a fight in third period. After that, we're told to go cover a class in fourth period and lose our planning time because of it. We then get pulled out for another IEP meeting in fifth period and end up behind with fifth period's class. Then we break up a fight in sixth period and spend time writing referrals instead of teaching. After school, we then attend a pointless professional development staff meeting for another hour. Then we stay for 2 more hours after that, catching up on grading with a headache, and then finally get home very late and too exhausted to do anything for ourselves. Rinse and repeat. None of that is really what teachers supposedly signed up for either. And until we fundamentally rethink the entire way the system is structured, which is allowing all of that to happen and burn teachers out to the point that millions of us have left the profession since 2020, no amount of positivity on my part is going to change that. Those problems have to be recognized by society at large, and we need to honestly just throw out the current system we have and start fresh from the ground up, with educators being an important part of that conversation. That's not negativity. It's being constructive and realistic. Yes, sure, it may not immediately help the teacher still stuck in the classroom. I agree. But they need more than the donut they get during Teacher Appreciation Week to feel better. They need fundamental and all-encompassing change, which is what I spend so much time advocating for here. And if all that fails, then I will continue helping them leave the profession and find jobs where they are valued. In the first 6 days of 2026, I had already had 3 coffee chats for those trying to get out, one of them being on New Year's Day itself. So there's clearly still work to be done and unhappy teachers in the system, aren't there? And how about we stop ignoring that? Well, guys, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed, or at least gained something from today's episode. If you aren't already subscribed, please do so and ring that bell button while you're down there to get notified whenever I post new content. It really helps out the channel and allows me to reach more teachers out there who do need my help and need assistance getting out. But for now, I've been Kevin, and I will see you in the next video.